Okay, hello everyone. My name is Elizabeth. This is Frizzy Lizzie Stitches, and today I have a Flosstube extra for you. I'm going to show you how I make these friendship bracelet style scissor fobs. So yeah, I am actually in the process of making these for some friends that I'm going to meet at Stitch North. So this Kathleen is for Kathleen from Situation Normal, and Shiloh is Shiloh from Stitch MD. And then this is just one that I made like last summer, which you might notice has a different little, I guess, way to attach it to the scissors. I specifically bought these lobster clasps because I just thought it would be a cleaner kind of finish. So that's what I'm going to show you today, is how to do it with the lobster clasp. So you're going to need a few things. First is 4 colors of DMC. So I'm going to be making 2 today, but I'm probably just going to show you how to do one and then maybe speed through the other. It depends on how fast I go. But yeah, so let's see. So these are 4 colors that I've picked out. I'm going to use these to make Shelby a bracelet from Stitches by Shelby. And obviously you're going to need some letter beads. If you want to do this and not spell out anybody's name or a short word, you can obviously just use seed beads. That's what these are. And I also, you might can tell, I have seed beads on the ends of the one for Shiloh because her name doesn't have as many letters as Kathleen, and I wanted them to be kind of all the same length. So just because I probably won't get to it in this video, these are the colors that I'm going to use for Liz's bracelet from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. And obviously Liz is only 3 letters, so I probably will end up using, I'll probably have 2 sets of decor beads and then her name in the middle. So yeah, let's see. So like I said, you're going to want some lobster clasps. These I believe are 22 millimeter. I'll put that on the screen, and I'll put all the stuff that I'm using in the description box. Like I said, you're going to need 4 colors of DMC, and then some letter beads, and some patience, I guess. But anyway, so first things first, you're going to want to cut your floss. So, oh, I guess another thing you're going to need is something to kind of attach your bracelet to while you're knotting it. So for me, I have this clipboard. And since this is going on a clasp, I am just going to clip the clasp to this little clasp on the clipboard. But the clipboard also comes in handy for measuring the floss because most clipboards are 12 inches long. So, and you're going to need 5 feet of floss because we're going to fold it in half. So I'm actually just going to use the side of my clipboard to measure the length of the floss. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And once you've cut the first color, you can just use this strand of floss to cut your other colors. A lot of my floss that I have in my boxes have been transferred to the floss drops, so they're already pre-cut into like 3-foot pieces. But I purposely picked colors that I hadn't transferred yet so that I would have, you know, enough length to cut 5 feet. Okay, so now we have our floss cut, and like I said, we're going to be folding this in half, so when we do our knotting, we'll actually have 2 strands of each color, which will create this chevron pattern because the knots are going to be coming from either side and then meeting in the middle. And then as you can see, one of those colors will be the border of our bracelet slash scissor fob. So I think another thing I forgot to mention that you'll probably need is a way to get the beads on the floss. So I actually have this piece of, it's just a single strand of DMC on a needle, and I actually will use this loop that's at the end to weave it through. So I can show you that now. So I'm going to take one of the lobster clasps, and then I'm just going to take one tail of this loop here, and I'm going to stick it through this little loop on the end of my needle. So we kind of create this kind of business. And then I'm going to take my needle and push it through this hole. That way I can pull the floss through the lobster clasp. So hopefully that makes sense. And then I'm going to line up these ends together and pull it so that I have my loop around the lobster claw, and then I'm just going to tie an overhand knot to secure it in place. And you want to make sure that you get the knot as close to the top as you can, just to keep things tidy. And then another thing that not sure if you're going to be able to tell in the footage, but there's a little bit of a shadow. But you can see this dark blue color is kind of poking up, so just take whatever color it is and kind of give it an extra tug on its own, and that'll help you with any loose threads that are in your knot. So just a pro tip. Alright, so now that we've got it knotted, we can start doing our bracelet. So I'm just going to clip this onto the top of the clipboard here so that it will stay in place. And I realize now that you can't see that. There we go. So I've just clipped the lobster claw onto this little bar on my clipboard to hold the bracelet in place. So hopefully when I edit this, I'll be able to zoom in so you can see well when I start showing you how to do the knots. So let's do that. First, you're going to want to kind of lay out all of your threads, and I'm going to do that now. Okay, so as you can see, I've laid out my flosses. It's not going to be like super structured at the moment until we do some knots. So let me see if I can actually zoom in with what I have here. Oh, it's kind of off-centered. Pull it over here. That might be better. Okay. Sorry, my overhead setup is not the best. Okay, this is actually better for me though, because then I can hold the clipboard closer to me. So basically, I'm going to start with this dark blue color. Let me see if I can get the light a little bit better. I think that's as good as it's going to be. Okay, so we're going to start with this dark blue color. And we're basically the dark blue color is going to be our border. So this is going to be, we're going to have to tie the knot a certain way so that the color will stay on the outside. So we're going to tie it around this light blue color, and you're going to kind of make like a 4. And then inside the little, I guess, gap of the 4, you're going to pull the thread through like so. So that's our first knot, okay? And then you're going to tie it one more time. So this time you're going to make a backwards 4, like that. And then you're going to pull this thread through like that, and then knot it. And then as you can see, this dark blue thread is naturally sitting on the outside because of how we tied that knot. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on the other side. So it's going to be like a mirror image of what we just did. So we're going to make a 4 pointing to the outside. We're going to pull that strand through, and then we're going to do a 4 pointing toward the inside of the bracelet, pull that strand through, and then tie it at the top, and then set those off to the side because we're done with those for this, I guess, row, if you will. So now we're just going to make the chevrons. So I'm going to take this blue strand and I'm going to tie it on the pink and the green. So this time we want the blue strand to keep moving toward the center of the bracelet. So I'm going to take my blue strand, I'm going to make a 4 shape pointing toward the outside. I'm going to tie that knot, and then I'm going to do that same thing one more time. So we have our 4, and I'm going to pull the strand through. I think I'm getting a little cattywampus here, sorry. And so now our blue strand is sitting on the right side of the pink. So I'm going to tie it on the right strand. Okay, and so now that half of the bracelet is done. So now for the light blue on this side, and checking how I'm looking on the camera here. Okay, so now we're going to take this blue strand, tie it on the pink, tie it on the green, and then tie it on the blue, and that'll create the point of the chevron. So again, you're going to make a 4 shape pointing toward the outside, and then you're going to bring the strand through the little hole there, knot it at the top. And I will say the first little row is always the trickiest because you haven't like given your bracelet any structure yet. So it is a little tricky, just be patient. Okay, and then we're going to tie it on the green strand. And then we're going to tie it onto the blue strand. And this one, since it is, you know, the same color, you're tying with the same color that you're knotting onto, it doesn't really matter which one you tie with, but we'll be consistent. So now, if you can tell, we have a tiny little chevron with a dark blue border on either side. So we're going to repeat those steps with so that we get a green chevron and a pink chevron. And then that's when we'll add the bead. So I'm going to walk you through one more time, and then I'll probably speed through the other part. So we're going to do a green chevron now. So I'm going to tie my dark blue strand onto the green. So I'm going to make, and it's also kind of frustrating at first because the strands are so long. But so we're going to make our 4 shape on the green strand. Pull this through, and then we're going to go backwards so that that strand stays on the outside. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Oh, you know what, I just did it on the green, but it was supposed to be on the pink. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I undo a mistake. So I'm just going to take the needle that I had over here, and I'm actually just gonna basically like how you would frog your cross stitch. I'm just gonna kind of push my needle in there and undo that knot because I actually skipped over. I was supposed to do it on the pink one, so just be very gentle. All right. Oh, see, I missed a strand there. Okay. Okay, oopsies. Let's try that again. Oh, I think I have a knot. Okay, I think we're good now. Okay, so we're supposed to do on the pink. You can kind of see, if I pull the strands down, you can see that it is pink and then green and then light blue. So we're gonna tie it onto the pink strand. Good grief. And again, we're gonna go backwards. There we go. And same thing on the other side, we're tying it to the pink strand. So again, we have a 4 pointing toward the outside of the bracelet. Bring it through. And then we're going to do a 4 pointing toward the inside of the bracelet and pull it through. Okay, let me check how I'm looking in the camera. Okay, we're doing good. Okay, so now we're going to do our pink chevron. So we're gonna tie it towards we're gonna make sure that our knots go toward the center. And then for the blue one, Alright, so now we have a pink chevron. So you can kind of see that our bracelet is coming together here. We have a light blue chevron and a pink chevron with the dark blue on the outer border. So now we're going to do the green color. So let me just kind of recalibrate my threads here so that we don't have quite a mess. I will say I've made these bracelets for a pretty decent chunk of my life, so there is a strong possibility that I am going through this too fast, but just keep in mind that you can pause and rewind this video as many times as you need to understand kind of how the knots work if you haven't made bracelets before. Okay, so there's a good kind of representation of how our flosses need to be laid out right now. So this dark blue color is always going to be on the outside of the bracelet because it's our border. And then these colors will rotate with each other because they're the inside of our bracelet. Okay, so I'm going to do a green chevron now. Okay, so now that we've done a few chevrons, we can kind of see, you know, where our threads are naturally laying, and we can start to see a good pattern. Since we've stitched with all of the colors now, I'm going to go ahead and add a bead. So this bracelet is going to be for Shelby, so I'm going to go ahead and, I had to pull the letters for her name, but also we need to pull some seed beads for, oops, that's not in the shot. We need to pull some seed beads for the ends of her name, since, what am I saying? Since her name isn't as long as Kathleen's, we want them to be kind of the same length. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 8 little bead spaces. So let's see, SHELBY. Yeah, so we'll also do one bead on either side of her name. So I have these. I like to use the these clear ones the most, just because I think they look really cool. So let's see. I feel like we should use some green because there's green in here, and then maybe clear from this one. So again, I'm gonna take. Is this even in the shot? Okay, so this is like blue, green, dark blue, and then this one is like orange, pink, and clear and yellow. So I'm actually going to take, I need 3 seed beads for this segment. So I'm going to do a green, a clear, and a green. So I'm going to take these center 2 strands, and I'm going to use my little thread thing over here to get this bead on. So this is the end of my green in the center. This is my little threader that I made. So I'm going to take the loop that's on the end of this, like that, and pull it through here. So we have like this. And then I'm just going to fish out a green, a clear, and a green. Like that. And then I will puncture or pull that through here. There we go. And so now we have some beads on our bracelet. Scissor fob, whatever you call it. That actually looks kind of yellow. But I think it's okay. Actually, I'm not really a big fan of that. Maybe we could do blue and clear. Maybe that would look better. Oh yeah, I think that looks much better. Okay, so I'm gonna move the beads out of the way now. I won't need those again until the end. So to do the filler part on the side, the border around the bead here, we're only gonna be working with these 3 strands on either side. So I'm actually gonna take the 2 center strands, and I'm actually gonna clip them using a little binder clip Let's see. Let's see if I show you. So I'm just gonna take this little binder clip, and I'm actually just gonna clip these center strands down on the bottom so that my bracelet doesn't go flopping all over the place while I'm working with it, since I'm not actively gonna be using those strands. So let's see. Let me get back over here. I feel like this is getting all out of whack. There we go. Okay, so for the borders, again, this outer strand we're doing the same thing with every time. And then we're basically going to be knotting the blue and the pink onto each other. So, since the blue is on the outside, we're going to do on that one first. So we're going to do the border on the blue strand, or the light blue strand. So we have 1 knot, 2 knot, and then this light blue we're going to tie onto the pink. 1, 2, and then we're just going to do that same thing. So this time we're going to do the border on the pink strand and then tie the pink on the blue. Okay, so we have this side done. So as you can see, it's like pink, blue, blue. Wait, pink, blue, blue. Wait, I'm saying that backwards. Blue, pink, blue. There we go. So there's 5 little segments on this border piece, and then the dark blue is on all of them as the border. So now I'm going to leave this side alone and repeat the same thing on the other side. Okay, so here's what we got now. We have, oh, there we go. We have blue, pink, blue on both sides of the little beads. So now we can connect it together. So now we're going to take these light blue strands that are on the inside and tie them around the green strands that our beads are on. And then we'll tie them to each other to kind of make this blue our next chevron. Alright, so now we have fully encased our little beads into the bracelet, and we already have our first chevron. So between each set of beads, I'm doing 3 chevrons because that's how many colors are on the inside. And then, so it'll be 3 chevrons, bead, 3 chevrons, bead, and so forth. So let's keep going. Okay, so we have our next our set of chevrons done, 1, 2, and 3, and so now it's time to add another bead, and this time it'll be a letter bead. So let's pull the letters. So now we have have the letters pulled that we need. So obviously we're going to start with the S. Let's see, just sneak that over there. Alright, so we're going to put our S on here. Now obviously you're going to need to make sure that all your letters are going in the same direction, so I'm going to do them so that this is the bottom line of the words. Okay, so now we have our letter bead on there, so now we're going to do the borders. So for these letter beads, I do like it to be a little more snug around this bead, since I guess the length of this is not as long as doing the 3 seed beads. So instead of doing 5 little colors on the border, we're only doing 4. So it's blue, pink, blue, pink. Instead of it being blue, pink, blue, pink, blue. If that makes any sense. So just keep that in mind. I did not do that when I made this bracelet. I did do 5 little segments on either side of the letters, and there's just a lot of extra room for it to like crawl over the bracelet and things like that. So I just do one less little knot, and then it just fits a little more snugly. Okay, and again, once you have both sides of your border done, you're just going to take the inner strand, so in this case it's pink, and we're going to tie that onto the center, which for this bracelet is always going to be green. And now that we've closed off that bead, we can just basically repeat everything we've already done until our bracelet's done. So I'm going to do 2 more chevrons for this, add a bead, do 3 chevrons, bead, and so forth. When I get to the end of the bracelet, I do like to just add like a tiny amount of braid, and that's really just to help me tie a knot at the end, and to give it a little bit extra length. But yeah, so that's pretty much how you do it. I'm going to go finish this bracelet off camera, and then I will come back to show you how I finish it and what it looks like. Okay, so now I'm done. I've got her whole name on there, and I've got the border beads on either side. I did finish off this with 4 chevrons, so we have the blue repeating at the very end. And then I did a little bit of a braid, and then this is the tail of our leftover floss, so I'm just going to take my scissors and cut pretty close, but not too close. And there we go. So this is what a completed friendship bracelet scissor fob looks like. I do have one more to make, but I'm going to do that off camera, and you might see a picture of it at the end of the video. I am filming this way ahead of time, because I'm trying to get these done before I go on my trip. So yeah, anyway, here's what I have so far. Again, this is Shelby for Stitches by Shelby, Shiloh from Xstitch MD, and Kathleen from Situation Normal. And then soon to be Liz from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. So yeah, anyway, you totally should comment down below if you decide to give this a try. If you have any questions about anything, comment below and I will help you out best I can. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.